it is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video on Hermitcraft, Clockwork Chronicles related Hermitcraft Genesis. We are in book 3, chapter 1. And yeah, I have noticed that a lot of the videos that I make that not a lot of people are like, it shows that 0% have made it through to the end. It's like, oh yeah, they get like 30 seconds and everybody's gone. I'm fairly certain that if there are people who are watching to the end, subtitles included or not, I do appreciate it. Know that I appreciate it. But if nobody is, then I guess, well, you're gonna miss a lot of stuff. A lot of cool stuff happening here. You never know. It could turn up. I could make references to this in my name to be determined world. I can make references to this in other projects. Just writing and having fun. In this case, Kate, we may or may not be going on a little adventure. But, yeah, if you haven't read the past parts, well, there is a link in the description. You can click on one of that and do that. Like, I don't know if you guys want me to do the next video link in there. You can let me know if you do want to see that. And if you are enjoying these videos, feel free to leave it a like. And yeah, I guess I should wait and ask you to subscribe later, after a little bit. But when I get into reading, I just get into reading, and that's what you're really here for. Well, I hope that's why you're really here. You just want to listen to my voice, listen to me build. This is a new pattern because it's a new character. Albeit Skiz was a little bit different because I wanted to finish the original pattern. It's not that big deal. And I just was done with the pattern that I had done for Skiz, and then was like, let's move on to Kate. Let's go. Chapter 1. We need to talk. Kate's father, Robert Kimberly, stated firmly, pointing toward the couch by the window. Kate froze in place in the hallway, looking up at the man's eyes. About what? Kate asked, uneasily, crossing her arms as she looked at her father. You know what, her father warned as the girl's shoulders slumped. Had he learned about her sneaking away from Clara again to help her friends? She looked over at the woman, who was seated in the armchair, cross-legged. She didn't waver from the girl's gaze. What about my friends? I need to make sure they're okay. Kate took a step back, noticing the flash of annoyance in her father's eyes. Part of her felt pleasure in the response, yet most of her wanted her to melt into a puddle on the floor. They're in good hands, I'm sure, right? Robert Kimberly looked over at Clara, who nodded. Liam, Blake, and Haley are exceptional medics, Clara replied calmly. Green and Scar will be fine. Kate swallowed, looking down at the hallway before letting out a sigh. Fine. She trudged over to the couch and plopped down, not meeting her father's eyes. She barely noticed her father at all. She barely noticed her father sit down on the couch next to her, his piercing eyes stabbing into her. She didn't look at him, even when he called her name. How's Mom doing? Her father relaxed slightly. She's doing fine. She's taken well to the safe house, found some decent hobbies to do, such as writing and painting. Kate glanced at her father. And what about you? The man shrugged. I go where I'm needed, and right now, I'm needed here. Why? I'm fine here. Kate looked down at the hardwood floor. I'm safe and happy. No problems whatsoever. Yet I caught you returning to this house with 2 injured YouTubers and 1 badly bruised. That was because some idiot decided to throw a mace into the mix, Kate grumbled, kicking her carpet in front of her. I had him too. It doesn't matter. You put your life in danger unnecessarily. What do you think the protectors do for a living? What do you think protectors do for a living? Just sit back and relax while the world burns? Kate snapped, looking up at her father as she narrowed her eyes. She looked past tense here. She caused the sliver of a smirk on Clara's face. I gotta make sure it's consistent. I've been using past tense, let's keep using past tense. You wouldn't have the same issue if I was a boy, would you? Nonsense, the man sighed, shaking his head. Oh my goodness, she pulled that card. I just want you to be safe, Kate. Both you and your mother do. We've been talking this morning, and we felt the latest rumors and all that would be safer if you stayed with us. Rumors? This is all because of some rumors? Kate huffed, rolling her eyes. When have rumors ever stopped me before? Last time I remember, you almost sent me to a private school where Mr. A would have recruited me. I'm sure you're misunderstanding, just as Isaac what happened to his parents when he resisted joining at first. Mr. A gave him no choice. He killed everyone he ever knew, or might miss him, so no one would ever notice he was gone. Kate sprung to her feet. Is that what have happened? Is that what it... I'm missing a word here. Can you guess what word it is? I don't think Google can guess. Is that what would have happened to me? Did I be forced to become a killer? Just like Julius was? She caught Clara wince from the corner of her eye. Kate wanted to kick herself as she gave an apologetic look toward the woman. Sure, she might not be the biggest fan of the woman, but she did have to admit, Clara was only doing her job. She was trying to keep her safe, along with hermits. Of course not, her father said calmly. I'm only trying to do what's best for you. If Mr. A gave you that offer, I would have been okay with you refusing. Would you? Kate demanded. Would you really be? That man doesn't give anyone but himself a choice, and he chose to hurt people. He chose to hurt my friends. See what happened to him. Exactly my point. Anyone who shows a potential threat is either behind bars or wouldn't know where you'd be relocated. You'd been relocated, the man said calmly. I said calmly again. You'd be surrounded by people who can help teach you to become a protector as well as your friends here can. You'd be safer there. But I don't want to be safe. I want to be with my friends, Kate insisted. Her father frowned, furrowing his brow. Don't you miss us? Don't you miss your mother? I can always call you. Kate snapped. She refused to meet her father's gaze, crossing her arms again, hoping he'd get the message, hoping he'd give up and go away, leave her alone and let her live her life how she wanted to. Her friends needed her, now more than ever. She couldn't just up and abandon them. It wouldn't be fair. Can't just take me from my friends. I can, Caitlin, Robert said, his expression as stubborn as stone. You're still legally bound under my roof until you turn 18. So, if I tell you to come back with me, you have no choice. Besides, I arranged it with Carl already. Of course you did, Kate said bitterly. I don't like this any more than you do. Robert's tone was more gentle, like he always did when he tried to persuade her to do what he wanted, to see his side of things. But this is for the best. You said that about the school before our town was attacked, and the water poisoned, she said, glowering at the coffee table, sitting in the middle of the room. That was Campbell's doing, not Mr. A's, her father reminded her. Mr. A never would have. He has, Dad. Of course he has. Kate whirled around to face her father. All of them have. Each of those leaders destroyed people's lives, ruined futures and dreams, crushed their enemies. Many didn't do anything wrong. I understand your frustration, he said calmly, yet she could see his vein pulsating. But in order for change to happen, sometimes the best option is to step back and wait until you're older. But I helped stop a bunch of bad guys trying to hurt my friends. Kate seized. You should have seen my archery skills. Even Skiz was impressed. Another smile appeared on Claire's face, and Robert shook his head again. I just want you to be safe, Kate. I could never forgive myself if something were to happen to you. The rage boiling within the girl dwindled as Kate nodded. Do the hermits know about this? No, Clara said honestly, receiving a glowering look at Robert. Your father wanted to talk to you first before I talked to them. And you've done that. Kate turned to her father. Should I get them so you can tell them to their face how stupid you're being? That's enough, Caitlin. Robert rose to his feet, marching across the room, grabbing the girl by the arm. Kate yelped, trying to pull away, but her father held her with an iron grip. I will not stand for this attitude you're giving me. Clara will have to deal with whatever happens, but we're leaving. Now. But, Kate stammered. You're done stalling, her father snapped, dragging her toward the front door, slamming it open. But can I say goodbye? Kate insisted, but her father ignored her as she struggled to pull away. She wanted to call out, to scream, yet she knew it would be no use. She'd prove her father right, that she was too young to be a protector. Not too young? She wanted to break his eardrums with those words, wanted to tear his hand off her and run. Run far away where he could never find her, where he'd never be able to take her away. Yet I was waiting for her at the safe house, expecting to see her with her father walk through those front doors. Was it really worth fighting over? After all, she did have her communicator. She could talk to the hermits for as long as she wanted. Her father couldn't keep her from doing that, could he? A smile flickered on her face before she forced it back. She couldn't let him know about her plan. And if all else failed, she could run away back here. The hermits wouldn't throw her out. Her father couldn't make them give her back. She closed her eyes as she tried to see her friends. Beat-ups, Pulse, Green, Scar, Gem. Of course, I forget Prolonamics. All of the hermits and friends she'd met along the way. Sadness tickled her heart, but also hope. She stumbled after her father, trying to keep up. Robert was as stubborn as a rock. No doubt he'd see the error of his ways. She just hoped it wouldn't be too late by then. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 2. Kate hesitated at the front door. Before her stood a 3-story home, accented with dark oak, intertwined with polished diorite, calcite, and white concrete. The roof was even bright coppery green in color. Was it actually a copper? Kate didn't want to marvel at the building, or think about how her dad could have possibly gotten a hold of something so cool. She didn't want to care, even as she felt his eyes digging into her back. She reached up to the dark oak door and pushed it open. Mom? Kate asked quietly, poking her head in cautious. I don't think I need the cautious here. Her eyes widened as she took in the main room. It looked more like a ballroom than an average area to hang out with friends or family. Red velvet couches leaned against the wall. The windows were lined with crimson curtains with a carpet of pink petals. Wait, are those actually cherry blossoms? Only the best for my family, her father replied behind her as Kate walked into the main room. Hearing her father close the door behind them, She could see a winding staircase that led up to the second floor, with a glittering crystal chandelier hanging from the wall. Hanging from the wall? That's not right. Hanging from the ceiling. That's the right word for that. Ceiling. There we go. Are those actual diamonds? Kate gasped, hearing her mother chuckle. I told you she wouldn't believe it, she said, as Kate spotted her in the opposite corner, hidden by a divider wall, as the young girl charged forward, tackling her mother with a hug. I've missed you, Kate mumbled, pulling her mother closer, smelling the lavender fragrance. She remembered it missed so well. You'll see a lot of both of us, for a while, it seems, her mother replied. Kate pulled away, seeing the smile on her face, her eyes twinkling brightly. Any sign of the infection that had poisoned her was long gone. Why don't you find yourself a room upstairs while your mother and I talk? Robert suggested. Kate looked up at him and frowned. What about? The girl asked quizzically. Adult stuff, her mother whispered into her ear. Kate sighed. I'll call you down when dinner's ready, her father stated, as the girl got to her feet, heading for the stairs. And don't try anything funny. There are cameras up there, and the security will report anything to me. Okay, Kate sighed again, putting a hand on the smooth silver railing. Where are the protectors, anyway? Stationed in the hidden spots around the perimeter. Some in the attic, Robert said firmly. You will not go far if you try to make a run for it. Why would I do that? Kate muttered, shaking her head, as she bounded up the stairs, hearing her parents' voices grow softer as she ascended to the top. The hallway seemed endless, just as bright and pricey as downstairs had been. How had her father gotten a hold of this place? She never had thought of her family as rich. In fact, they were on the lower end of middle class. They were able to afford just enough to keep a roof over their heads, food on the table. She looked down at her clothes, which were dirty, tattered, nothing like the luxury of this place. Cleanliness of this place made her feel dirty. Not sure if I need that sentence, so I'm going to omit it. It's like repeating what I've already stated. It's redundant. Meh. She peeked into one of the bedrooms. Immediately recognizing it as the master bedroom, with the king-sized bed and glorious pearl-white curtains at the ends of her perfectly clean bed. In the corner of the room, she spotted something she recognized, an old-fashioned communicator. Before Impulse had made his own version to make it easier for YouTubers and their protectors or families to call for help. Kate closed her eyes, feeling a wave of sadness fill her. What was Impulse doing right now? Was he worrying about her, upset that her father had left with her, not giving her a chance to say goodbye? Or was he too focused on working on Redstone gadgets, making sure Green and Scar were okay? Were they okay? Sure, both Liam and Sam had assured her that they would be fine, but she still couldn't shake the image of the man hurtling the mace toward them, Green pulling Scar closer to shield him from the incoming blast. Her hesitation to stop him. It was her fault they had gotten hurt, and she had been so reluctant. She turned away from the master bedroom, trying to push the memory aside, but the man's words replayed in her mind. Scar suffered immense pain, only bearable through consistent healing potions. Kate shook her head, replaying the moment in her mind. That little voice in her head, that voice that told her he deserved it, the voice that told her to let it happen, to let him suffer, to let Green suffer, that maybe the pain wouldn't be so bad, that it would be merciful. The girl stopped in the middle of the hall, fighting back the tears that stung in her eyes. She knew none of those words were true. It was just a stupid voice in her head telling her lies. The voice sounded so familiar. She couldn't quite place it. And yet it was there. The wave of dread, of anger, fear. The cycle she and her friends were forced upon over and over again. Pain, fear. There was no escape. She turned to the next room, finding it empty as she plopped down onto the bed, letting out a groan. The room was just as pretty as the rest of the house, yet she wondered what hoops her father had jumped through to get to this place. What was the true cost of the safe house? And if it didn't belong to her father, who did it belong to? Kate was jolted from her spiraling thoughts when her pocket vibrated. She hastily pulled out her communicator, seeing one of the icons were lit up. She immediately let the signal through as a familiar voice came through. "Kate, are you there? Clara just told us what happened." "I'm here," till tears sprang in her eyes, hating her how choked up her voice sounded. "I miss you already. Trust me, I feel the same way," Impulse sighed. "Robert's lucky Green isn't awake, although I'm sure he'd give you some pointers for some pranks." Kate giggled. "I'm down for that." "Great," Impulse chuckled. "The girls are here too, by the way. B-Dubs is hanging out with Julie just for a bit." "Hi, Katie," Pearl's voice shouted from the speakers. "Hi," Kate smiled, feeling her cheeks warm. "I wish Dad waited. This is a stupid idea." "Stupid or not, we'll make do," Impulse warned. "I want you to be on your best behavior, okay?" "I'll be fine," Kate groaned. "I don't want to give him a reason to take this little gadget from you either," Impulse stated. "You might need it if things get bad." Kate gulped. Dad said that wouldn't happen. "You really believe that?" Jim pressed. "No matter how much you want to." "This place is too good to be true," Kate admitted. "It feels like I'm a princess in a palace and hiding out from a mad doctor who wants to experiment on me." "Well, stay alert and let us know if you notice anything off," Impulse replied. "Especially from the college members there." "I haven't seen any yet, but I have my eyes peeled," the girl promised. "Good," Impulse replied. There was a long moment of silence before Kate asked, "Are Scar and Green doing better?" "They're just fine," Jim assured the girl gently. "They'll be bedridden for a day, but we'll be back to action in no time. Just like Pearl and me." Kate nodded, relieved at the hermit's words. "Scar's really okay? No suffering from any pain?" "Don't let that guy get to you," Impulse said firmly. "He doesn't know what he's talking about. Scar hasn't been taking any potions as far as I'm aware." "Thank you," Kate whispered, glancing over at the door. "Dad will be calling me for dinner soon. I should probably end call. He'd set up cameras to spy on me." "Or anyone else," Impulse pointed out. Kate's blood froze as she shuddered. "I'll be careful. I'll let you know as soon as there's any trouble." "Don't hesitate to send a signal either," Jim insisted. "We're here for you. There has to be a reason why Rhinestone picked you to be our first experiment." "But I'm fine. The experiment didn't work like she wanted it to," Kate stated. "Do you know what she wanted?" Pearl asked curiously. "No," Kate admitted. "She probably wants me to turn into a mini version of Gerald, though." "Well, you're not him, and you never will be," Impulse said matter-of-factly. "You're your own person. Remember that." "You'll call me if you need me?" Kate asked. "Try not to worry about us," Impulse said softly. "Be okay. Stay safe, though. Promise me that," Kate demanded. "We'll be safe," Impulse agreed. Jim and Pearl followed a moment after. Before they said goodbye, Kate ended the call before stashing her communicator back into her pocket and lying back down on her bed. Yeah, I think this will be a good spot to end this episode, seeing as we also have an even number of chapters, and this is a decent amount. 24 minutes isn't bad. But yeah, I don't know how many people have stuck to the end, but if you have, that's great. Awesome. Yeah. I've been trying to work a little harder with the voice stuff, so of course I'm not going to do different voices. It's going to be ridiculous. I can, but I'm also like, yeah. It gets confusing after a while, but that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy these videos and want to see more, leave a like, subscribe, and check out the next video. Or check out my Name to Be Determined world, or my Clockwork Chronicles playlist, Minecraft playlist, where you can see the builds that I made for that. Neat. I lost the world at this point, but I did what I needed to do there, so there's that. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Goodbye.